Americans have 14 trillion with a T dollars in debt. An article came across my phone the other day while I was just sort of playing around on it, and I noticed something very interesting. It said that Americans have $13.86 trillion in debt. That includes mortgages, student loans, car loans, and other consumer debt. I want to run down the list, give you my thoughts about it, and how this sort of ties into everything that's going on, and what this sort of means for you, for me, for everybody in the country, pretty much in the world. So the largest amount of debt is home loans, and that is $9.4 trillion in home loans. Now, a lot of people will say that it's okay because a home is an asset. A home is something that you can build your wealth into. It grows with you. It's an asset. I'm here to say that those people are probably wrong, and they're probably exceptionally poor. An asset is something that makes you money, and it doesn't cost you money each month. If you purchase a $150,000 home with 3.5% down, which is an FHA loan, and then you pay the minimum amounts for the next 30 years, you will have paid $394,000 on that home. It's a $150,000 home. So to say that it's an asset is just wrong. Not only does it cost you more than double of the actual home's value, but it costs you more than that because when you have to spend extra money, it pulls it out of your account for the future. Compounding interest works both ways. For a home and for credit cards, it really hurts you because as the interest consistently accrues, you are constantly losing money and have to spend more money. But the other way around, if you're somebody who's investing and you get 10%, 8%, 12% growth every single year, this growth is constantly improving. So a very basic example is that you invest $1,000. Year one, it grows 10%. Now you have $1,100. Year two, it grows another 10%. Now you have $1,210 investing because you made an additional $10 on the $100 you made last year. This really starts to pick up the longer and longer you invest. So to say that a home is an asset is just wrong. I hate that idea of that. I think it's totally bogus, and it just really is what keeping a lot of people down because they buy so much home and they don't need it and they can't really afford it. My suggestion is to purchase a home on a 15 or 10-year mortgage. The best way to do it is put down minimum 20% and then buy it on a 10-year mortgage. If you can't afford that, maybe look at a cheaper house or get a 15-year mortgage. But if the payment on the house is more than like a fourth or a fifth of your take-home pay, it's too much house for you. Next is the auto loans. Auto debt is up to $1.3 trillion. Auto loans beyond a home are probably the dumbest loans. I would say auto loans are probably less intelligent to get than a home. Auto loans are something that everybody thinks they have to have, and the second they stop having one, they decide that they need to upgrade their car. Cars are functional. It's getting you from point A to point B. Whether I'm driving a Toyota Corolla with cloth seats that are stained with 150,000 miles, or I'm driving a brand new Lexus C-Class, Mercedes-Benz C-Class, whatever, with leather interior that almost has auto driving features. It's really, really safe, this and that, this and that. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get from point A to point B the exact same way on four wheels, and I'm going to get there taking the same turns, going the same speed, and so on and so forth. So investing a bunch of money in a car is just stupid. A lot of people buy way too much car, especially younger people. Me and my wife actually fell into that trap a few years ago. She purchased way too much car for her, and we're still dealing with that trouble today. And I've actually made similar mistakes, although I got a lease. So what I would suggest doing to try to get rid of $1.48 trillion, which is a ton of money, is to purchase a car with cash that you can afford. If you can't afford it with cash and it's not a home, I would never buy it. If you desperately need a car, I get that. But you can always buy a cheaper car. You could always buy a car that you use for 2 months and then save up to buy a nicer car. And then you save up to buy a nicer car and so on and so forth. So instead of buying a $20,000 car with a loan, you buy a $4,000 car today, save up for the next 2 or 3 months, sell the $4,000 car, get like $3,500 back, and then you have an extra $4,000 to throw at the next car. So if you can be patient about the way you do things, you can have a nice car without ever having to spend nice car money, and you can never have the interest payments on a car loan. Next, this is also a silly one, student loans. If you're in college right now and you're taking out student loans, you are ruining your life. The average student loan in America, I believe, is 35 grand. 35 grand is more than most people will make in their first year out of work before taxes. So when you're going to college, make sure you're doing it without debt. I know it's so easy for me to say, well, don't go to college without debt, but I was able to do it. My wife wasn't, and we're now getting rid of her debt. It is a lot of money. It's something that will stick with you forever. You can't bankrupt it out of the system. You can't get rid of student loans. The only way to get rid of them is to die. And that's sad because you don't want to have to be paying on something your entire life. Student loans are the type of thing that people tell you, again, is a good investment in your future. But once you get to $80,000, you won't make that much money for probably 10, 15 years. $80,000 salary is not something you get right out of college for most people. So avoid student loans, go to a cheaper college, go to a community college, stay in state, get scholarships, save up money. Don't go the second you graduate high school. Maybe save up 10, 15 grand living at home while you're working on the side. You can do that. You don't have to go to college right now. You can have some patience. Next is credit cards. Credit cards loans have crossed the $1 trillion mark, and it is literally one of the silliest debts to have. Credit cards are the types of things that you use when you can't afford what you're trying to buy. Again, a very simple tip is if you don't have cash today, don't buy it. It's stupid, but if you don't have cash, don't pay for it. And credit cards, student loans, home loans, auto loans, all of these loans will come up whether you're working or not. And we've seen that with this whole crazy situation that's going on now. It's really scary to me to see all of the debt that Americans have. $14 trillion is not a joke. I might be laughing because it's so crazy, but it is not a joke. These are real people with real families that have real responsibilities, and they're $14 trillion in debt, most of the time because they bought more than they can afford. A lot of people will say that, well, there are a bunch of people who are buying less than they can and doing really well, but they still don't make enough money. To those people, I'll say, get another job. I know it's harsh, but that's the way it is. Like, life is not fair. If you want it to be fair, look somewhere else. The best way to go about this is to just start paying off your debt. I know with what's going on right now, don't pay on debt. Pay as little that you can on the minimum payments until you're back to being reemployed and back to making money. But this is a perfect example of how scary and frightening debt can be for the service industry out there. Those employees that have lost their jobs over the last week in my state, they've literally just closed down so many non-essential things, restaurants, retail stores, etc. Those people are not making money right now. And for those people, it's probably exceptionally scary since I know that 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So when you're looking at your situation, take this as a learning opportunity. If something happens where you have to file bankruptcy in the next couple months and you have to take what you've done in the past and correct it, I understand that it's scary. I'm not here saying that I'm glad it happened. But honestly, take it as a learning experience. If you don't learn something in the bad times and you only learn in the good times, you'll never really grow. So take this time and this sort of financial disaster that's happening in the economy and learn from it. I know it sucks out there for the service industry people, and I do feel bad for you, but at the same time, it's tough for me to have so much sympathy when you have $14,000 in credit card debts, and probably $14,000 of that was on non-essential purchases. So I think that it's tough out there, and I have sympathy for the people that are going through a really tough time. I really do. But take it as a learning experience and understand that you messed up. It's okay to say that you made a mistake. I've made so many mistakes. I purchased a car when I shouldn't have bought a car. I sold a car when I shouldn't have bought a car. I bought so many things. I bought a camera when I didn't have the money for it that I'm recording on now. I bought a lot of things on credit because I didn't know that it was wrong. But you're watching this, so now you know that it's wrong. So I have sympathy for you. I hope everyone's staying safe. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're making ends meet somehow. But just know that this is what happens when you take on debt you can't afford. And when you take on debt in general. No matter what's happening in the economy, no matter what's happening in financial disaster, whatever's happening, the debt collector is going to knock on your door and be like, give me my money. Because no matter how much money you're not making or you are making, they still want their cut of it. So I understand it's scary for a lot of you out there, but take this as a learning experience because you messed up. You have a ton of debt and you can't afford it. And I'm sorry, but I know it's harsh, but that's just the way that it is. So learn from it because it sucks now, but everything can be fixed. In 10 years, you'll look back and laugh and be like, Man, that was so dumb. I can't believe I had $12,000 in credit cards, $12,000 on a car loan. I had a $400,000 house I could barely make the payments on, and I was still paying off my student loans. When you can get rid of all that stuff by either working a second job, starting a budget, I have so many other videos on this channel about that I'll link down below. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, you're eating, you're healthy, you have water, and then after that, worry about paying the bills. Thanks you guys for watching the video. I hope this was somewhat informative, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, stay safe out there. Sorry my upload schedule has been a little bit weird. It's just been really tough with everything that's going on. My wife's working from home, so I don't really have the space to make the videos that I used to. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.